All right. One of the subjects we are studying this year is we're finally starting, let me tell you, I've had it for a while, is the Biblioplan Ancients. So again, I bought almost every history curriculum, almost every science curriculum. This is a great curriculum, but I'm going to tell you which books I don't think you need because you don't have to buy the entire bundle. This in itself is enough. This textbook right here, this is the Ancient Days, the History for Junior Readers. This in itself is an entire curriculum all on its own. But they have a lot of supplemental stuff or stuff that you can add on. The only other book I love besides this that I think is super cool is they have an ancient book for food and crafts and things like that. So they have another one of those books, which I think is amazing. I have one for all the years, and yet I can't find it to show you. I've showed you many a time in many of videos, my older videos. It's great, but it just has like every week that you cover a different history, time in history. It has food that they ate then. It has some crafts that they did then. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. So this and that are the only things. One, obviously you don't need the food and the crafts, but super cool. But I'll show you inside this. But now, so depending on what age you're doing this with, you can do this with any age, starting with little kids, 7 and up, I would say, little kids, middle school kids, high school kids. So they have these different books that you can buy, one for each of the groups that I just mentioned. And then they have on top of that, they have the timeline book. I am going to get the timeline book. I didn't buy it originally. I don't know why. And so I went back and I ordered it. It was like $20. It just comes with pictures. Silver, I mean, unless they've updated it, not the best pictures in order to trigger kids' memories, as far as I'm concerned. But they are pictures that are in the book too. So that's kind of cool that it's like, oh yeah, like maybe that'll help. But anyway, not to take away from this book, which is, I think it's just great. I think it's excellent. And I read, you know how many books I read? Too many. This is the family guide. You don't need it. This is an annotated book list. Essentially, that's all this is. It says it has lesson plans in it. Like there's a page of movies in here, or 2 pages of movies for high schoolers you could get. But again, there's only like 7 movies. I don't think you need it. I don't think you need it. I think if you just bought this and taught them this, like I just read it during snack time. It's my snack time book right now. And then did the timeline to reinforce it, you know, and went over the timeline, maybe discussed it a bit. I think that is sufficient. That's what I think. But it depends how deep you want to go, and I'm going to show you inside these, and you can decide for yourself, right? You decide for yourself. Okay, so remember the days, this hardcover, beautiful hardcover. So a lot of information. Again, table of contents. So you're covering, it's the ancient civilizations, right? So there's different books for medieval, all that stuff. So the Roman Empire. I know, I never read it in order to anyone. Okay. So why do I need to know history? It's just well written for even young children. It's interesting enough. It's not too complicated. It has definitions, which are, to me, very important. And it's got some pictures and some photographs. The photographs, to me, I think books need to include a lot of photographs just because the world is so beautiful. So again, this is just a summary of what's going on. These couple pages here, just a summary of what's going on, right? So in itself, complete enough lesson in itself. So for example, though, like some of the pages I would show you on the timeline that you're going to see is you're going to see like this. So this page, this represents God divides light from darkness. So it's part of the Sistine Chapel ceiling by Michelangelo. Okay, that's cool. But if you want kids to remember it, I just think maybe just a little different. But again, that's like, I mean, who am I? Who am I to say that? So again, the creation of the heavens. How are you supposed to tell these parts apart if you're like a little kid? Like, how's that going to trigger your memory? Like, oh yes, that's what happened next. So things like that. Okay, so this is how it starts off. And then it goes into, anyway, very short, but very interesting stories. And then you get into history or archaeology. They talk about the difference. See, they have photographs, which I think, again, definitions here if you want to go over them. So very easy if you're making your own cue cards for your kids to remember, to go over with them again. If that's your thing, that's my thing. I want my kids, I work to get my kids really well educated, but I do it in a special way that some would say is lazy. It's not lazy. I guess some wouldn't say it's lazy, but it doesn't look like, I don't spend hours actively teaching. I do a lot of behind the scenes stuff. Okay, so now this is the thing that I don't think you need. So this is the cool history for littles. But again, it's cool. I mean, if you can get it, why not? This is for K through 2, okay? Okay. So looking through this, these I think are optional. That's for middles. The only one I think no on is don't get this. It's like overpriced as far as I'm concerned. It's just an annotated thing, which if you probably Google it and we're like, hey, what's some books during the, you know, the Assyrian time, some children's books during the Assyrian time, you could probably find on the internet. I don't think it'd be that big a deal. Okay, questions from the reading. So you can do these either orally or written, right? So it's just got some basic questions to go through. It's got cool hands-on activities. That's what this program does have. But again, if you get that one book that I told you about that goes along with this, the craft book and the food book, I don't think you need this. So it has some interesting crafts. So for example, look at the Noah's Ark one. You're cutting a watermelon in half, and then you're going to scoop out the watermelon. Now, it depends. See, I also don't do a lot of crafts and don't do a lot of activities. The reason I don't is that I just want to teach, hardcore teach. These are extra to me. So the time I have, which is during meals and snack times, that's when I'm hardcore teaching. When you have an ADHD student, that's your hardcore teach time, as far as I'm concerned, till they get a bit older. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so you got more questions about that, and that's about it. Point out the huge sections of the globes that are watery. Explain about 7/10 of the Earth's surface is covered with water, and only about 3/10 is land. So, you know, if you wanted to just spend more time, maybe you do. Maybe you do. That's fine. Like, maybe this is your whole afternoon, right? This is like your afternoon activity. I don't work like that. But other people could. Other people could. Okay, so let me show you. So now you see, this is all it is. Questions for the reading. So it's not really for, like, your little kids, right? Like, they're not going to sit down and be like, oh. So this is Giants of the Fake. Make a cylinder seal, a wooden dowel rod, air modeling clay, roll out the clay, wrap it around the middle. Use a toothpick to carve your royal seal into the clay when the clay dries. Actually, you can get clay for $5.99 from Walmart. So you can get air dry clay. $5.99 from Walmart. So a wooden dowel, I mean, don't know if they have them at Walmart. So that's what I don't like about some of these things. The problem I have too is like the amount of time to collect all the supplies when they're all different. If it was all construction paper, okay. If all the pieces came with you, okay. Just because, so you have to pick and choose, right? Like, you know, you're the parent, you pick and choose. Yes, I'll do that one. Yes, no, I won't. So just to recap, this in itself, sufficient enough. Now, and then the timeline to reinforce it. This puts your whole bundle, though. I mean, it's a lot of money at your whole bundle. I don't have the high school show you. So these are the maps. The maps one is cool-ish. It's cool-ish, but it's not just maps. So let me give you an example. So this is the map activity, right? This is for, what age is it? Middles, which is like past grade 2. So middle school to high school, right? So color in blue the Mediterranean Sea, the Red Sea, the Persian Gulf, and the Arabian Sea. So you're getting to know a map by doing this. So very good. And then it says, but here's where, but it's not like a map for reference. Sorry, I don't think I got food on it. I think it's honestly a stain it came with because it hasn't been used before, but it could very well be I stained it. But then down here, it's like, okay, well, wait, you have to write in, make sure you write in. Where is it? Challenge. The Tigris and Euphrates rivers are missing from this map. Can you draw on both rivers? That's irritating to me. So you can't use this map as a reference when reading this. However, when you go in here, it's not that irritating. Once I opened it up and realized that in here is the map. Where is the map? It's a tiny map, though. These are tiny maps. They are not like ginormous maps going on. But otherwise, it'd probably be a massive book. Yeah, so there you go. And so there's the Tigris and there's the Euphrates River, all right? So Tigris and Euphrates, write it in. So kind of cool. So all it is maps. That's it. And all it is map things. Like, oh, write this, draw this, color this. So that's the only option that I saw that they had for middle-aged students. Middle-aged. This is a waste of money. It's like $59, I think. Like, it was really overpriced. And the fact that I bought it, if I could go back in time, I would tell everyone not to buy it. The majority of it is this. So this is your plan. If you want like an actual plan of what to do, to me, it's still not that great. So remember the days, okay? So remember the days, which is this big book here. Remember the days. And then it's got the testing of Abraham, day 1, day 2, day 3. Dude, to make your life easy, loves that are watching this show, I shouldn't call you dude. I would drive me nuts if my kids call me dude. I wouldn't answer. I'd be like, oh, that's not my name. Okay, is just sit down and read a freaking textbook. Just sit down and read it, and then do the timeline, and ask some questions too, and maybe like recap it, you know. But and then the next day when you went to the next chapter, be like, hey, what happened last chapter? Because understand that once you read, that you spend a year reading ancient, the next day you go to middle, the next day you go da-da-da-da, then you can recap. Just keep this. And then the fifth year, you go back and you do the ancient days again so that it's getting more cement in their head because they're going to notice stuff this time they didn't notice last time, right? So history is all the same. It's not changing no matter what like series you go. Like if you want to do ancient days a different way, a different time, still, you know, same things are followed. Okay, so again, we got the Biblioplan, hands-on supplements, coloring through ancient history, hands-on Asia. It's just not that great, if you ask me. So this is your lesson plan that they do give you, okay? Who cares? Again, I don't think it's that great. The Veritas cards, classical conversation cards, which I actually have. I actually have the classical conversation cards. And they are good. Yeah, they are good. I could probably use them instead of the timeline, to be honest. Maybe I should. I don't know. Too late, already bought it. Boy, I wish I thought about it. Okay. So here's your book list for K through 2. But then the reason it's so thick too is because you might not be doing this. Ooh, creepy. Anansi the spider. Oh, I remember hearing about this in the audiobook for Story of the World. See, that's what I mean. It's like maybe after doing this, you'll go back and you'll be like, hey, let's listen to the audio of Story of the World and learn through that. Then you got 3 for 5 readers. So these are just the books and then a little message about them. Annotated, as they call it, I think is the fancy thing. You know, this side note that no one cares about, I read romance novels like obsessively. It's like my thing. Okay? And it has been for decades now. I'm 47 decades I've been reading them. And I find it interesting that I see some people annotate their romance novels. And now I'm just thinking about it. I wonder what they annotate. I don't know. Okay. So anyway, so who was King Tut? So books, but again, you just Google it and get a list, and that's it. And then at the end, 5 through 8 readers for that week, 8 through 12 for that week. But it also does have some writing ideas if you wanted to. Yeah, family read-alouds, but I don't know. Maybe it's worth it for you to buy this whole thing. I bought it. It does not seem worth it to me because, again, I could just read. Although I did go on the library and reserve one book, but then the problem is like, so are you going to drop like hundreds of dollars on books? Are you going to go through and take the time and specifically choose the books that you drop money on? Or are you going to order them all from the library and just make sure that they all arrive in? Because if they're not at like a local branch, you got to do it interstate and just make sure that they all arrive in time for when you cover that week or that lesson. But wait, you guys read a chapter every day. So, oh no, you've passed that time period. Do you go back? I know. So anyway, but I did order one book from the library today. I was like, let me try that. So I think I will go through it and order it and just not be specific like, oh, it has to land on, I have to read it this day, this. I don't know. I'm just going to remember the days and see how it goes. Okay, I hope that helped you. I hope that helped you a little bit decide, yes, I want it. And just for the record, the timeline, it's just pictures that you cut out and glue on to 8x11 pages that have the timeline sections under it. So just in case, but I guess the activity of doing that, I saw in a picture they were using Velcro. I'm not going to go that far. I'm not going to laminate. I'm not going to Velcro, which would be cool if I did. I'm not going to. I hate cutting up the books either. And like, I don't, whatever. It is what it is. I only just don't like it because I don't like destroying books. Okay. But it's meant to be like, that's what it's for. All right, well, thank you for tuning in. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Please like and subscribe.
Yes.
And hit the bell for notifications.